Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a sci-fi action movie from 2013. That movie is Pacific Rim. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, when I saw the trailers for this movie, I was genuinely excited to watch it. In fact, I came really close to breaking down and going to a theater and checking it out. Unfortunately, thanks to various things going on here, like scheduling conflicts and everything else, I didn't have the chance to see it in theaters. But the good news about that is because I didn't get to see it in theaters, I get to watch it here. So that is awesome, awesome stuff. I'd like to say that as a child, I watched a ton of Godzilla. In fact, I still watch a whole lot today. I've got almost every movie on either DVD or Blu-ray. I'm kind of proud of that fact. But, and I know that this is very, very similar, except now they've thrown in, you know, humanoid-looking mechs in order to fight them, which the only time I ever remember a humanoid mech being in a fucking Godzilla movie, that really didn't end very well. But anyway, I'm getting way off track here. The short version is I really want to like this movie. I'm absolutely hoping for the best, but I can also see this thing flying way, way off the fucking rails and completely sucking. But the only way I'm going to find out if this thing is going to be any good or not is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Pacific Rim. Okay, I would like to say right now that I really, really like the way that everything looks here. You know, in terms of mechs, monsters, CG, everything's awesome. I just have to question the logic behind a synchronized piloting system. Wouldn't it have just been easier to just do a standard anime mech like cockpit, which has some kind of like hybrid of fighter jet and tank controls, and just have a single person run this? I totally understand that is probably going to destroy the conflict in this movie, but still, that would make a lot more sense in this kind of a situation. I just kind of wanted to share that. Did I just hear him right? Did I hear him say that fucking Jaeger had 50 diesel engines per muscle strand? Does that actually mean that these things are run on fucking diesel, like diesel fuel? Somehow I was expecting something different. I don't know, like nuclear power, solar energy. I wasn't expecting fucking diesel fuel, guys. So, we just got a brief glimpse of the Kaiju World, and it looked sort of cool. It looked bleak and horrible, and I would never want to live there, but it looked sort of cool, guys. I am going to totally say that. Alright, guys, you know, I have never been this happy to see somebody just get the shit pounded out of them. And if this scene were to go on for another 20 minutes, and this pompous fucking Aussie just continued to get the shit wailed out of him, I'd be totally happy, you know, with that. So yeah, you know, movie, if you want to just keep up this pounding for another, like, 20 minutes, I'm totally cool with that. Okay, so the Chinese Jaeger has 3 pilots and 3 arms. I have 2 questions about that. One, why the hell do you need 2 pilots for it when the second right arm seems to do exactly what the first does? 2, why the fuck do you need 3 arms in the first place? It doesn't seem to make a lick of sense. I mean, I could maybe understand if you balanced it with a 4th arm, but then, you know, according to this film's logic, you'd need a 4th goddamn pilot, but still, it would probably make a little bit more sense than just having this, like, random 3rd arm just, you know, like, jutting off of your mech that doesn't seem to serve any fucking purpose. I'm really sorry, guys. It's just kind of bugging me a little bit. Okay, I had no idea that Kaiju had bat wings. That's That's absolutely terrifying, but also fucking awesome at the same time, guys. That is really fucking cool. Wait. Let me see if I understand this. So they have tried dropping bombs into the breach before, and it hasn't worked. And yet this entire thing was based on the plan of, we're gonna drop a bomb into the breach. How the fuck does that make any sense? If it's failed before, why the hell are you gonna do the exact same goddamn thing again? What sense does that make? Well, guys, that was Pacific Rim. Let me shut that off. Okay. Well, you guys probably noticed as I was watching the movie, I continued to ask questions about things like logic, or, things that would, the things that should by all rights make sense. And that is sort of the thing when it comes to the writing, is as you watch this, you will find tons of instances of that. You'll find tons of instances where you just start asking questions and you just start pondering what the hell is going on in this movie. And what's going to happen when all is said and done is, if you think about all those things too long, the whole thing is just going to start to suck. So it's just one of those things where anything that isn't answered with common sense, just go, well, it is a sci-fi film, it is a science fiction work, just fucking roll with it, okay? That really is like the best thing that you can do. And trust me, if you honestly are able to look, because if you're able to look past the problems, if you're able to look past the things that really don't make a whole lot of sense, all of which, I'm going to be totally frank with you, are absolutely trivial when all is said and done, you still have a really awesome story here, okay? And mind you, like, once more, if you just start to pick at all of the little, like, minor things, it is going to absolutely destroy the story. However, the story is still strong, enough where you can look past these problems and still find a very fascinating and very well-written story. Because we have characters who are deep, we have characters who are likable, we have backstories for them. The characters are fleshed out, and that's something that you don't see a lot anymore. Which you guys might have noticed if you watch my series a lot. That is one of my biggest complaints, is that most films do not have depth in their characters, and the characters are shallow and pointless. Here, everybody has some kind of a backstory. Everybody is fleshed out, and they're fleshed out well. So like, nobody here amongst the main cast is going to be a waste. Now, mind you, there are things such as the Chinese pilots and the Russian pilots who are just kind of there, and you really aren't going to care what happens to them. But almost everybody else is kind of fleshed out to a point where you are going to care what happens to them throughout the entire film, and that is what you want when you are writing a story. You also want a story that is going to keep the viewer interested. And I'm going to tell you guys, this movie clocks in at about 2 hours and 10 minutes, and that 2 hours and 10 minutes, it races by. This thing has fantastic pacing. At no time does the movie ever drag. At no time does the movie ever, just start to get dull. It just keeps going. The story continues to hammer forward, and it works. This is proper film pacing, and that's something else that I just don't see enough of. This thing has writing that would be absolutely amazing if it wasn't for those minor logic holes, and also the fact that it likes to use a little bit of cliche. However, here though, cliche is used fine. It's actually used, well. Because it isn't done too much, and they aren't, like, playing it up much. It's just sort of there, and they actually aren't even cliches as much as they're a bit closer to tropes that tie into giant monsters and mechs. They are just sort of there. You just gotta learn to deal with them. I would also like to talk about referencing, because this movie, it references tons of different things, guys. Because the kaiju, when you first look at them, they actually look a little bit like the monster from you know, Cloverfield if the monster from Cloverfield were covered in glowing lights and could spray acid or had bat wings or, you know, had various other little things, which is really cool because I kind of liked Cloverfield and I kind of saw that as a nice little like nod to that. You know, the whole whole thing with having a force feedback system in these mechs, I've seen that done also in things such as G Gundam. I really enjoyed G Gundam, so that works. You know, there are references to everything from, or correction, at least I saw references to G Gundam, Cloverfield, Godzilla, Gamera, Evangelion. Just tons and tons of different things. You will find stuff here that, whether honestly they meant to reference it or not, it is there. And if you're a fan of, you know, like mecha based shows, or if you are a fan of kaiju, you know, movies, like movies and shows, this thing is a colossal love letter to you, and you are going to love it every step of the way. One thing I really liked, and this actually is going to jump from writing and go right into music. There's a piece of music in here which plays when one of the kaiju first hits, I believe it first hits Hong Kong. It is the best Godzilla March sound-alike I have ever heard. And mind you guys, the friggin' like music here is great everywhere, but that one piece of music, I loved it, partially because it's a reference to one of the most iconic pieces of music in all of kaiju film history, and the very fact that they had a really classy sound-alike, I really enjoyed that. It was great. Music here is top-notch. The writing here is great. The acting here is also fantastic. I did not see a single actor like drag anything here. Like everybody was pulling their weight. And the one I was most shocked at, there is a member of the cast who in this movie, who also is one of the stars of that horrifically stupid sitcom It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I hate that show, but that guy, I think his name's Charlie, I think it's like Charlie Day. He actually turned in a fantastic showing here. He showed me that he can act, which means that now I'm not going to, you know, be filled with dread if I ever see him on a fucking cast list. I had no idea that he was even in this thing until I saw him in the movie. And he proved to me that he can act, and that the bullshit he does in, you know, Philly is just the fact that the writing on that show is so goddamn bad. He genuinely impressed the shit out of me here. And everybody else also really turned in an awesome show. Acting here is some of the best you will ever see. At least the best you'll ever see in a sci-fi film about, you know, robots and giant monsters. I totally understand I'm kind of narrowing it down, but still, the acting here is some top-notch stuff. Special effects. Special effects here are fantastic, and I know that the effects team who's working on this are also working on the upcoming American Godzilla movie. I cannot wait, because if they were able to do awesome stuff here, I would love to see what they have lined up for that. These are some of the best special effects I've seen in terms of giant monsters and mechs and just everything else, guys. Everything here in terms of CG is spectacular. I loved the special effects here. Beyond that, guys, everything else is all just technicals. Camera work, lighting, all of that is done very, very well. Blocking in terms of camera work is also done very, very well. Everything here is top-notch stuff. And so when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Pacific Rim? You bet your ass I do. This is by far one of the finest science fiction films I've seen in a long time. This thing is coming very, very close to beating District 9 as my favorite sci-fi film in the last decade. This movie was that awesome. I am very happy I picked up picked up this thing. I'm even happier because I found it brand new on eBay for $12. And if you guys can find it even at full price, I say pick it up. You cannot go wrong with this movie. It is that absolutely fantastic. Now, because this thing reminded me of so many classic monster movies, I actually have a couple of them on Blu-ray on my shelf. I really am tempted to kind of follow up this with either Cloverfield or, what's the other one I got? It is Godzilla versus Biollante. I'm probably going to have to go and watch one of those now, just basically, you know, to kind of sort of keep the flow going. This movie was amazing. So yes, guys, please, if you can find a copy of it anywhere, pick it up. It is fucking fantastic. I love this thing, and it is going to have a very prominent spot on my Blu-ray shelf. So yes, guys, with that we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.